marble dream rises through morning, etched not just in stone, but in longing, power, and myth. A teardrop on the cheek of time, they say. But what if behind that perfect symmetry was obsession, ambition, and a darker cost? Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your sources and unpack the hidden layers of fascinating stories. Today, we're not just looking at a picture. We're stepping beyond postcards and poetry into a tale carved with love, loss, lies, and legacy. You're about to see the Taj Mahal, an icon you thought you knew, maybe in a completely new light. Our mission today is to go, well, far beyond the widely known narrative of eternal love. We want to delve into the complex history, the extraordinary engineering, and, the enduring myths that surround one of the world's most famous monuments. We're going to try and uncover some of the surprising realities that lie beneath its perfect facade, using this great stack of intriguing sources you've provided us.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how a single structure can hold so many layers of meaning and contradiction, really. We'll be synthesizing historical accounts, architectural details, and even, modern-day observations to reveal a more complete and perhaps more human story of the Taj Mahal. It's a monument that has captivated imaginations for centuries, but as we'll hopefully discover, its narrative is far richer, more nuanced than the simple love story often portrayed.
Right. They call it a love poem in stone, don't they? And for centuries, the Taj Mahal has been pretty much universally recognized as the ultimate monument to eternal affection. This truly is one of the most recognized buildings on Earth, instantly identifiable, almost synonymous with India itself. It was commissioned by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in 1632 as a memorial to his beloved wife, Mumtaz Mahal. She died tragically during childbirth, apparently. And his profound grief is said to have fueled this monumental undertaking, transforming sorrow into this structure of unparalleled beauty.
And the very heart of the Taj Mahal is that central tomb, which houses Mumtaz Mahal herself. It's nestled within an octagonal chamber adorned with the most incredibly intricate carvings you can imagine. It's a truly breathtaking display of artistry. Shah Jahan's own tomb is also there, placed, well, somewhat surprisingly alongside hers, flanked by smaller tombs within the complex. The construction of the mausoleum itself was completed in 1648, but the entire complex, the gates, mosque, guest house, the sprawling gardens, that wasn't fully finished until 1653.
Took a while then.
It did. And the estimated cost at the time was around 32 million rupees, which, to give you a real sense of the scale and ambition, well, in 2015 US dollars, that's roughly $827 million.
Okay.
Yeah, a staggering amount. It reflects not just grief, but also an immense imperial undertaking.
Absolutely staggering. And its iconic status was, I guess, really cemented when it was declared one of the new 7 wonders of the world back in 2007.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was following that huge internet-based poll organized by the New Seven Wonders Foundation. That initiative alone attracted over 100 million votes globally. It just underscores how widespread its admiration is, truly transcending culture and geography.
100 million?
Yeah. And this global recognition often leads to these really personal, very emotional responses to the Taj Mahal. Sometimes that overshadows, purely academic or scholastic appraisals. People arrive with an image in their mind, an emotional connection already there because of its reputation.
Absolutely. And that emotional connection is undeniably powerful. You see it everywhere. But like you said earlier, every poem has footnotes they don't always want you to read, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
While it's undeniably stunning from afar, especially in those iconic postcard images, some modern visitors describe their experience as, well, maybe somewhat underwhelming, or even sometimes a bit of a tourist trap when they get up close. You can find comments online, say on Reddit, where people discuss how it can feel overrated. Maybe because of the sheer volume of crowds, or how the interior, for some, feels like just a walk around a tomb that's about the size of my living room.
Right.
Leading them to find other Indian historical sites maybe far more interesting, or at least less crowded.
And this contrast in visitor experience is quite striking, actually. While some visitors do express genuine disappointment, maybe due to the crowds, the heat, or, like you said, a perception of it being smaller than they'd imagined from photos, others, despite acknowledging all those very real challenges, still report that they absolutely loved it. They'd go back in a heartbeat.
So very different takes.
Exactly. It highlights the diverse range of visitor expectations and, the individual nature of experiencing such a globally renowned wonder. It speaks to the power of preconceived notions versus the reality of a crowded living monument. But this ideal postcard perfect image, however, it starts to shift quite dramatically when we look closer at the man behind the marble, Shah Jahan himself.
Yeah, let's get into that.
We often romanticize Shah Jahan as purely the grieving husband, don't we?
We do. That's the main story.
But if we really connect this to the broader historical picture, Shah Jahan wasn't merely a heartbroken widower. He was the powerful emperor of the Mughal Empire, deeply involved in every single aspect of this monumental undertaking. His personal touch, his singular vision, they were paramount to the Taj Mahal's creation. It sets it apart even from other grand Mughal projects.
So he was hands-on.
Very hands-on. Court histories from the time consistently emphasize his personal involvement in the construction. They reveal that he showed a greater interest in building and architecture than any other Mughal emperor before him. He apparently held daily meetings with his architects and supervisors, meticulously reviewing designs, making appropriate alterations to whatever the skillful architects designed after many thoughts.
Wow, daily meetings.
Yeah. This wasn't some distant patron just commissioning a project. This was a hands-on ruler, an architect-emperor in his own right, really micromanaging every detail, from the grand layout down to the intricate inlays. And the ambition. The ambition to reproduce paradise on Earth, as you see so clearly in the design of the entire Taj complex, that directly symbolizes Shah Jahan's immense power and his desire for an enduring, unparalleled legacy. Something that would echo through time.
Okay, so what does this all mean for the romantic love story that we're so familiar with? I mean, it might have been genuine grief, right? The architectural splendor certainly seems to reflect the depth of his affection for Taj Mahal. The monument is undeniably a testament to a profound personal loss.
It could well be. Grief could absolutely be a major driver.
It was also undeniably interwoven with the political landscape of the time and the emperor's grand vision for his reign.
Precisely. Beyond the personal, the Taj Mahal was a grand declaration of imperial strength and stability. You have to remember, Shah Jahan had recently consolidated his power. He'd navigated a period of considerable internal strife, fratricide even, killing his brothers to secure the throne.
Right, that's often glossed over.
It is, and there are external challenges too. So constructing a monument of this unprecedented scale and opulence, it didn't just honor his queen, it also served as an unparalleled declaration of imperial strength and stability to both his subjects and rival powers across the continent. A very powerful message etched in marble, declaring an era of unchallenged Mughal dominance.
And the choice of materials, like the gleaming white marble, you mentioned that was symbolic.
Deeply symbolic. So Sufism, the mystical dimension of Islam prevalent in the region, saw white domes adorning the tombs of revered Sufi sheikhs, these holy men. By using white marble for the mausoleum, Shah Jahan was consciously overlaying his authority as king with his authority as a pious representative of Islam, identifying himself with spiritual purity and divine right to rule.
Ah, okay, so it wasn't just aesthetics.
Far from it, it was a strategic choice. And this color symbolism extended even further throughout the Mughal architectural language. The Mughals used specific color coding in their structures. White marble often reserved for tombs and spiritual buildings representing purity, the priestly class, and red sandstone for fortresses, gates, other buildings of state signifying power, conquest, the warrior class.
Right, you see that red sandstone in Agra Fort, for instance?
Exactly. And by using this code, they intentionally identify themselves with these leading classes of Indian social structure. It effectively defined them as rightful, powerful rulers within the Indian context. That red sandstone, used for many of the other impressive buildings within the Taj complex, was also the exclusive color of imperial tents back in Persia.
Interesting link.
Yeah, it directly reflected the Mughal Empire's Persian origins, asserting their lineage and power while simultaneously integrating into the local Indian cultural landscape.
So it's this blend, personal devotion and monumental imperial statement.
Precisely. And perhaps nowhere is that blend more evident than in the monument's sheer scale and its audacious engineering genius.
Okay, let's truly unpack this engineering side because it sounds incredible. Imagine the immense challenge. Building such a colossal structure, weighing, what, 25,000 tons?
It's around that, yeah. A massive weight.
Right on a soft riverbank where the ground isn't naturally solid or stable. That's where the ingenuity of the Mughal engineers truly shines, isn't it?
Absolutely. The primary challenge was preventing this massive mausoleum from sinking or being damaged by the shifting soil and the powerful currents of the Yamuna River, especially during the monsoon floods.
Which can be intense.
Very intense. So the Mughal engineers came up with a brilliant, really revolutionary solution. a well foundation. This was a truly novel idea at the time, and remarkably, a variation of this technique is still used in modern civil engineering today.
Still used today. Wow.
Yep, they didn't just dig down, they dug deep wells, plunging far below the water table until they hit hard, dry earth, a stable bedrock layer. These wells were then meticulously filled with rocks and mortar, creating incredibly sturdy deep cylinders. On top of this, master builders erected robust stone columns, linking them together with massive arches, essentially creating a solid mountain of stone beneath the entire foundation slab.
A mountain of stone under the ground.
Pretty much. It wasn't merely a foundation, it was a deeply rooted, resilient substructure designed to withstand the test of time and the river's forces.
And that's why it's still standing so firmly after almost 400 years.
That's the key. This innovative technique was absolutely crucial to its longevity. It protects the monument from the powerful currents and erosion of the Yamuna River. It's allowed it to survive countless floods, multiple earthquakes, heavy rains, making it one of the most stable and enduring monuments in the entire Indo-Islamic world.
Incredible.
And modern 3D reconstructions have even revealed the intricate details. They show how these engineers designed brick wells stretching all the way down to harder ground, carefully inserting vertical wooden pilings within them and filling them in with the robust material.
Wooden pilings, that sounds risky over centuries.
It does, and it highlights an ongoing maintenance challenge. But what's even more fascinating are the secrets hidden within the mortar itself, which was vital to bonding all these materials. Microscopic analysis has shown that it's not just a blend of minerals like lime and sand, it also contains these small grains whose appearance is strikingly reminiscent of plant morphology, likely seeds or plant fibers.
Plant fibers in the mortar. Why?
Well, it was a surprising discovery. It suggests these organic additives might have been deliberately incorporated to enhance the mortar's binding properties, perhaps acting as a kind of natural polymer or reinforcing agent, making it incredibly durable and flexible.
Like ancient rebar almost.
Sort of, yeah. A testament to ingenious, forgotten techniques we're only now rediscovering. But it also means, going back to the wood, that regular monitoring of these wooden foundation shafts is crucial.
Because if the wood dries out.
Exactly. If the river water level drops significantly, the wood could dry out, shrink, or decay, creating instabilities in the supports. That poses a long-term challenge to the monument's stability.
That's truly incredible foresight and engineering genius. And if we consider the sheer scale of the operation beyond just the foundation, it's mind-boggling. You said every inch was planned to impress Earth and heaven? It required this unprecedented mobilization of resources, human capital, almost bankrupting the empire.
It was an enormous drain on the treasury, yes. We're talking about over 20,000 workers and artisans involved in its construction. And this wasn't just local labor, it was a truly international effort, drawing talent from all over. Specialist sculptors from Bukhara in Central Asia, renowned calligraphers from Syria and Persia, master designers from southern India, skilled stonecutters from Baluchistan.
Even Italian artisans.
Even Italian artisans, yes. Pichatura specialists, likely, each contributing their unique expertise to this grand vision.
And the materials themselves were sourced from all over India and beyond.
Absolutely. The gleaming white marble, which forms the iconic exterior, came from Makrana, Rajasthan. That's a staggering 250 miles away.
250 miles. How did they even move it?
Imagine the logistical feat. Transporting thousands of tons of marble across that distance in the 17th century. It was moved primarily by camel and burro carts, an arduous journey taking months.
Wow.
The red sandstone for other parts of the complex, like the mosque and guest house, came from Fatehpur Sikri, which was comparatively shorter, about 28 miles away.
Still a huge task.
Still a huge task. And then there were the precious and semi-precious stones for the intricate pietra dura inlays that adorn the marble, like jeweled embroidery on stone.
How many types?
28 different types in total, each carefully cut and fitted like pieces of a vast sparkling puzzle. You had deep green jasper from Punjab, pristine jade and crystal from China, brilliant turquoise from Tibet, rich blue lapis lazuli from Afghanistan, luminous sapphire from Sri Lanka, warm red carnelian from Arabia.
Just listing them is impressive.
It really is. And to move all these vast quantities of materials, over 1,000 elephants were used. Their immense strength harnessed for this epic construction.
1,000 elephants.
Yeah. And inside, to speed up construction while maintaining structural integrity, the core was built of local stone using a technique called random rubble masonry.
What's that?
It's basically using irregular, undressed stones laid with mortar. It allowed for rapid construction of the core walls, reserving the more time-consuming, highly skilled work for the exquisite marble veneer and those intricate inlays on the outside.
Smart, efficient.
Very efficient. They even created on-site factories using clay from the Yamuna River, producing an astonishing 1.2 million thinner bricks per month continuously. That allowed for rapid, controlled construction of the taller structures and internal supports.
It's just the scale is almost impossible to grasp.
It truly is.
So moving beyond its grand scale and incredible construction, a crucial element of this grandeur lies in the hidden layers of design and meaning meticulously woven into the Taj Mahal. You mentioned it wasn't just built, it was composed, reflecting deeply held beliefs, a sense of cosmic order, all within a precise mathematical framework.
Exactly. The entire complex is ordered by precise grids. Detailed modular divisions were used to proportion every building and the overall layout. While some minor discrepancies exist, probably due to practical rounding or slight errors in execution, some modern research even suggests that older pre-Mughal units of measurement, like the angula, an ancient Indian unit of length, might have been subtly employed, sort of blending older traditions with Mughal innovation.
Fascinating. And the exterior look.
Well, the mausoleum itself is essentially a cubic building, but with chamfered or angled corners. It features 4 identical sides, each dominated by these grand iwans' monumental arch-shaped doorways. These iwans are framed by colossal pishtaks, vaulted archways that extend above the roofline about 33 meters high.
Huge arches.
Massive. And to either side of the main pishtak on each face, additional pishtaks are stacked, creating this perfect, consistent symmetry on all sides. It's a visual harmony that's just mesmerizing.
And the dome, of course.
The dome. Perhaps its most spectacular and iconic feature. It's a perfect marble onion dome about 35 meters high. It's accentuated by a 7-meter cylindrical drum it sits on, which gives it added height and prominence. And at each of its corners, 4 smaller, identical onion-shaped chhatras, these little pavilion-like structures provide visual balance, all topped by a gilded finial that catches the light.
It really defines the silhouette.
Absolutely. Then there's the calligraphy. It's incredibly extensive and just beautiful. It was designed by Amanat Khan, a Persian calligrapher, and he actually took the very unusual step of signing his work at the base of the dome, which is a testament to its artistic importance and, well, his pride in it.
You don't often see signatures like that.
Very rarely in this context. The inscriptions primarily consist of quotations from the Holy Quran, meticulously inlaid in black marble onto pristine white marble panels. And here's a clever detail. To counter optical skewing when you look up from below, the higher panels actually use a slightly larger script.
Oh, subtle.
Very subtle yet brilliant. It speaks volumes about the precision and mastery of the artisans. For example, the inscription over the main gate as you approach the tomb reads, "O soul, you are at rest. Return to the Lord in peace with him, and he at peace with you." A really profound message of eternal peace.
Beautiful. And the gardens in front, the reflecting pool.
That's the magnificent charba, or paradise garden. This Persian-style garden is far more than just decoration. It's deeply symbolic. It's divided into 4 quadrants by elegant water channels, symbolizing the Islamic concept of the 4 rivers of paradise: water, milk, wine, and honey.
Ah, okay. Paradise on earth.
That was the idea. There's a central raised marble water tank known as Al-Hawd Al-Kawthar, literally the tank of abundance promised in paradise, and that long, linear, reflecting pool that beautifully mirrors the Taj, creating that iconic, serene image.
But getting the water there must have been complex.
Incredibly complex and sophisticated for the time. A whole infrastructure drew water from the Yamuna River using animal-powered purs, these large rope and bucket mechanisms operated by bullocks or elephants. They raised the water up to distribution cisterns. From there, it was meticulously piped to supply the numerous fountains.
How did they get the fountains to spray evenly?
Clever engineering again. They used specially designed copper pots placed beneath each fountainhead to ensure equal water pressure, creating uniform jets. This system also irrigated the lush gardens through a network of earthenware pipes. Some were later replaced with cast iron during the British period, actually.
It's just layer upon layer of thought and design.
Exactly. And considering the incredible lengths Shah Jahan went to, the immense resources poured into its creation, well, it's perhaps no surprise that such a monumental undertaking would also give rise to whispers, secrets, and even outright myths. The Taj Mahal, even in its physical grandeur, has always held this intangible mystique.
Which leads us nicely into some of those enduring stories. You mentioned earlier this question. Is it merely a love story? Or could it also be seen as an emperor's ultimate architectural statement? Maybe even a power play disguised as poetry.
That's the crux of it, isn't it? And one of the most persistent myths surrounding the Taj Mahal is this idea of a twin monument, a black Taj Mahal.
Right, I've definitely heard that one.
Yeah, commissioned by Shah Jahan for himself to be built across the Yamuna River, perfectly mirroring the white one, maybe connected by a grand bridge. This fascinating idea originates from the writings of Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, a European traveler who visited Agra in 1665. He wrote about it quite fancifully.
And the story goes that it was never finished.
The myth suggests Shah Jahan was overthrown and imprisoned by his son Aurangzeb before this black mausoleum could ever be built, leaving his own final resting place incomplete.
And for a long time, people thought there was physical evidence, those blackened stones across the river.
Exactly. In the Moonlight Garden, the Mehtaba, there were ruins that looked like blackened marble, which seemed to support the legend. However, archaeological excavations carried out in the 1990s definitively debunked this idea. What they found were simply discolored white stones that had turned black over time due to natural processes like algae or pollution, not actual black marble.
So no black Taj.
Well, not a physical building, but a more credible theory emerged in 2006. Archaeologists reconstructed part of a large pool in the Mehtab bag. What they discovered was that this pool, when filled with water, created a dark, almost perfectly clear reflection of the white mausoleum across the river.
Ah, a reflection.
Exactly, fulfilling the idea of a mirrored structure, a concept that perfectly aligns with Shah Jahan's known obsession with symmetry and architectural balance.
That makes a lot more sense.
It does. And satellite imagery confirms the Mehtab Bagh enclosure is the exact same size and a precise mirror image of the Taj Mahal's layout. Archaeologists also found traces of a platform that might have formed the base of a pleasure pavilion there, probably designed specifically to view the Taj and its reflection.
Okay, but just to be clear, there is a place called the Kala Taj Mahal somewhere else.
Yes, important clarification. There is a Kala Taj Mahal in Burhanpur, but that's a completely different tomb belonging to Shahnawaz Khan, a Mughal nobleman, not the mythical Black Taj of Agra.
Got it. It's fascinating how even a building so globally famous can still hold such physical mysteries and fuel these elaborate stories. What about the rumors of locked rooms and hidden passages within the Taj Mahal itself?
Right, that's another common one. Well, the Taj Mahal does indeed have underground galleries. These are actually quite familiar features in Mughal architecture. You find similar vaulted rooms in impressive forts, like the one in Lahore, for example.
So they're not necessarily secret.
Not secret in the sense of hidden treasure rooms, no. These underground rooms likely served a very practical purpose. As a cool, private place for the emperor, his women, and his entourage, especially during the sweltering Indian summers. It's believed Shah Jahan would often arrive by boat on the Yamuna River, landing at the ghats, the riverside steps, and entering the mausoleum through these passages. It maintained a level of imperial privacy and, frankly, coolness.
Makes sense. Did anyone ever see inside them?
Oh, yes. An Indian conservator even recalled visiting them years ago and described a beautifully painted corridor opening into a larger space, which he described as clearly the Emperor's Passage, suggesting its original grandeur.
So they used to be open.
Interestingly, yes. These underground rooms were historically open to visitors for many years, which probably added to the mystique. However, that changed after a major flood in 1978. That flood caused significant water damage, silting, and cracks in the structure down there, so authorities shut them for public safety reasons.
Understandable.
Yeah. Today, they are only open for essential restoration work, and despite all the speculation, there's absolutely no evidence of any hidden treasures, secret documents, or revolutionary discoveries within them, just the remnants of an emperor's private chambers.
So the reality is perhaps less dramatic than the myths.
Often the case. But while the mystique of such stories persists, the reality of maintaining such a colossal ancient structure presents very tangible and sometimes stark modern-day challenges.
It's quite ironic, isn't it? We pour immense resources into preserving this perfect symbol of love, meticulously maintaining its ideal image, yet today it faces these very real, very modern threats that challenge its very existence.
It really is a paradox.
And the most pressing among them is environmental pollution, right?
Absolutely. Alarmingly high pollution levels, particularly from industrial emissions and vehicles in northern India, have caused the gleaming white marble of the Taj Mahal's facade to turn a noticeable brownish yellow. It's quite visible under certain conditions, very sooty.
That's terrible. What are they doing about it?
Well, to counteract this, the monument actually receives regular mud pack facials.
Facials for a building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using multani mitti, which is a traditional Indian remedy made from fuller's earth, a type of clay. This special clay mixture is applied to the marble, allowed to dry, and then carefully brushed off. It effectively draws out the impurities and helps restore the marble's natural sheen and brilliant white color. Archaeologists and conservators believe this treatment is crucial for its ongoing preservation.
That's amazing. A spa day for the Taj.
Kind of. But beyond that, while we marvel at its enduring beauty, we really can't ignore the cracks, both literal and metaphorical. Maintaining such an ancient structure against the forces of nature and modern challenges is this ongoing battle, a continuous labor of love and science.
And the authorities have taken bigger steps too.
Oh, yes. Significant and often challenging measures to mitigate the risks from pollution. They've gone as far as excluding all polluting industries within a vast 10,400 square kilometer area around the Taj Mahal. That's a huge zone.
Wow.
They've banned motor vehicles within a 4-kilometer radius of the monument to reduce exhaust fumes. They've even shifted iron foundries from Agra 50 kilometers away to minimize industrial emissions impacting the site.
That must have been controversial.
Highly controversial, but deemed necessary. And organizations like NERI, the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, actively contribute to environmental management and pollution control efforts around the site. They conduct studies, advise on best practices. It's a constant effort.
And it's not just pollution, right? It's faced other threats.
Yes, beyond environmental pollution, the Taj Mahal has also faced existential threats from wartime. During the India-Pakistan Wars in 1965 and 1971, and even during World War II back in 1942 against potential Japanese Air Force attacks, scaffolding was ingeniously erected around the monument.
But not for repairs.
No, purely for camouflage. It was designed to disguise the building, make it look like a mere pile of bamboo and cloth from above, protecting it from aerial attacks.
Incredible. It highlights its value as an icon, but also its vulnerability.
Exactly. And despite its robust foundation, the Taj Mahal isn't entirely immune to structural issues or natural damage. The monument has experienced various forms of damage, including noticeable tilting of its minarets, which was observed after severe storms in 2018 and 2020.
Tilting, that sounds serious.
It is concerning. And the underground rooms, as we discussed, suffered cracks and silting from that devastating 1978 flood. And that ongoing monitoring of its wooden foundation shafts remains absolutely crucial because of that potential for the ancient wooden supports to dry out if river levels drop significantly, which could create considerable instability over the long term.
So restoration is constant.
Constant. Hundreds of delicate stone inlays and marble sections are always being replaced or repaired to maintain its integrity. It's a testament to the continuous effort required.
And all these contemporary challenges, they remind us that the Taj Mahal isn't just a static relic of the past, is it? It's a living monument, constantly interacting with its environment and, I suppose, the evolving national identity it represents.
That's a perfect way to put it.
Now, here's where it truly deepens the story, I think.
Huh.
How does a monument built centuries ago by an empire of Persian Turkic lineage come to symbolize a diverse and modern nation like India?
It's a fascinating question.
The Taj Mahal is, without doubt, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a globally recognized symbol of India. Its architectural style, that magnificent blend of Indo-Islamic and Mughal elements, it beautifully reflects India's rich cultural tapestry.
And what's important to remember is that while it was built by Mughal rulers, who indeed had Persian Turkic lineage, these Mughals intentionally defined themselves as powerful and legitimate rulers within the Indian social structure through their architecture. They integrated aspects of the local land, traditions, existing craftsmanship into their grand designs, creating this unique syncretic style that became quintessentially Indian Mughal.
So to blend from the start.
Very much so. But this raises that important question for modern India. Can a building be both a national icon and a legacy of an imperial past? It kind of holds all those contradictions, beautifully encapsulated in marble. The structure and its broader context clearly show how different eras and cultures have left their indelible mark. From the original Mughal design and its profound symbolism, you can trace the influence of the British Raj. Lord Curzon in the early 20th century famously re-landscaped the gardens into the more tailored Victorian-style lawns we largely see today. He imposed a different aesthetic onto the Mughal original.
Right, changing the garden changes the feel.
Definitely. And since India gained independence in 1947, the Archaeological Survey of India has been diligently responsible for its maintenance and preservation, a massive undertaking for the new nation. The ongoing discussions and debates around its conservation, its interpretation, they truly reflect the broader, evolving conversations about history, heritage, and national pride in modern India. Well, for some, it's a proud symbol of India's historical grandeur and architectural prowess, a testament to the subcontinent's rich, syncretic culture. But for others, it represents an imperial legacy, a reminder of foreign rule, which leads to ongoing debates about its place in contemporary national identity. Different political factions have at times sought to either embrace or distance themselves from its Mughal origins, highlighting this complex relationship between history and modern nation building.
So history isn't static.
Not at all. It's constantly being reinterpreted and renegotiated. So as we kind of conclude our deep dive here, what does the enduring power of the Taj Mahal ultimately tell us?
We've peeled back quite a few layers of myth and history on this deep dive into the Taj Mahal. It's so easy to romanticize marble, isn't it? To see only the perfect postcard image, to focus solely on that idealized love story.
It is. But it's harder, I think, to face the blood, the immense wealth, and the sheer power that went into its creation. The extraordinary human effort, the symbolic imperial ambitions, the very real environmental challenges it faces today, and yeah, the differing modern perspectives on its meaning. The Taj Mahal isn't just a love story, it's a mirror reflecting who we were, and perhaps more importantly, a mirror to who we want to be remembered as.
Perhaps its true perfection lies not just in its exquisite symmetry or the ingenious engineering, but in its profound ability to contain all these complexities, the intensely personal and the grandly imperial, the ancient and the modern, the captivating myth and the stark reality, inviting us all to look closer and keep asking questions about the stories we tell ourselves and the stories that monuments tell about us. Thank you for being on this trip with us. Stay curious, stay grounded, and stay tuned for the next one.